Cupid, draw back your bow and let your arrow flow. All right. Now it's time. Showtime. What's up, YouTube? This is Maurice, and this is Danica, and you had just entered the Mobley Culture.
Welcome to the culture, y'all.
So today is a special video.
Yes, story time video.
Story time. One of the best love stories in the history of love stories.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Aww.
Yeah, that's right. And this story is about how me and Danica met. How, when, why, what, where.
Yeah.
And sometimes how.
Huh?
You
You already
learn?
said how.
Oh, what the 5W was who, what, when, where, why, and sometimes how. That's
Yes.
right.
So, since this story requires details, I'm going to tell the story. Maurice is going to listen.
Yeah, because my memory is very sketchy.
Yes, he doesn't remember much. And then he might leave out details, or he might
Add a detail.
that really didn't happen, or
But
leave
makes
out
me
a detail.
look good.
Exactly. So I'm going to be the primary storyteller in this here video. Maurice will have his input here and there. So let's begin.
Let's begin.
So Maurice, do you remember the year we met?
Oh, Lord. The year, let me calculate. It had to be 88, 89-ish.
I'm impressed.
Because I know we was 13 years
It was
old.
in 1988.
So the age, what was the age? 1988.
Mm-hmm.
So I would have been 12.
Yes. And I was 13.
13.
Yes. Do you remember the month?
I don't remember the month. It was hot.
Yes, it was.
hot.
Yes.
Very hot.
Yes.
So it had to be like June, July or something.
It was
maybe.
July.
July.
Look at you.
No. Only reason why I know
You
because
remember.
I do kind of remember the conventions, the UNAC conventions
Yes.
were in the summer, so I do remember that. Okay.
All right, so it was July. Now, I don't expect you to remember the exact date, but I remember the day, July 9th, 1988, and it was a Saturday, and that's the day me and Maurice met. So,
Okay, it was a Saturday.
it was a Saturday.
Cool.
So the story goes like this. Me and my mom took a trip to Atlanta, Georgia. I'm originally from Jackson, Michigan. Shout out to the mitten. And our church, Canaan Temple. Shout out to CLT, Canaan Temple. Great memories. Our church was chartering a bus to Atlanta for the UNAC convention. Now, I do not remember what UNAC stands for, but it has something to do with Young People in Church of God in Christ.
Just know it was Kojic. And
All caps.
Did Brother Robert drive y'all down?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, Brother Robert.
Brother
I
Robert
remember Brother
drove
Robert.
us down. I don't know Brother Robert, but he drove us down. So our church comes to Atlanta from Jackson, Michigan for the UNAC convention. Me and my mom come down here, and this was not my first trip to Atlanta. My family's from here, my dad's family, my grandparents were born and raised in Atlanta, so I had been to Atlanta 2 previous times before this. But this particular trip
was different.
It was exciting because I was a teenager. I was 13, and my friend Monica, she was going on the trip too, so we was gonna get to hang out and be teenage girls. While we're here, my mom was like making these arrangements for us to go see her friends. And I'm like, who are these friends? So it takes us to the train station, and we take the MARTA train to College Park. And I'm like, where are we going? And my mom's like, well, Maurice said he'll be here to pick us up. My father-in-law, that I didn't know was going to be my father-in-law, comes and picks us up from College Park train station. to take us back to his house. Now I still don't know who this person is. I don't know where we're going, but it's my mama and Brother Robert's friends from back home, I guess. So we riding and we pull up to this red barn looking house, and we go in, and my mom introduces me to this lady. She's a cute little lady too, and she was so nice to me. Like, that really stands out. That's a huge memory of mine from when me and Maurice met, is how nice his mom was to me. So my mom and her are talking, and she's talking to me and telling me how cute I am, and she's showing me around the house and asked me did I want a popsicle. She said, you can have anything you want in the kitchen. You go right in there and help yourself. So I'm in the living room watching TV, and my mom and Maurice's parents are and Brother Robert are in the other room talking, and I'm just sitting in there by myself watching TV, eating a popsicle, and all of a sudden, no, let me rewind. Before I even met Maurice, when I first get to the house, Maurice isn't there. But his dad is kind of sizing me up for one of his sons. It was so funny because he's like, his dad said, so how old are you? I was like, I'm 13. He's like, I think you're a little too young for Carl. He said, but Pooper, he's 12. He might be a...
The disclaimer. Everyone, to YouTube world, my nickname is Pooper.
Oh, that's right.
Family and friends, close friends know that. But since she put it out there, you might hear it a few times. So, to YouTube world, to all the MCs out there,
this is Pooper.
I am Pooper.
Now, I don't call him Pooper, ever. I've never called him Pooper. But if I'm talking about somebody else and saying what they said, and if they use his name, I'll say Pooper. But that's what the dad said. Pooper might be right age for you. So anyway, his dad was already trying to set me up with somebody, which was hilarious. But if you know my father-in-law, it makes perfect sense. So anyway, I'm watching TV, eating my popsicle, minding my business, and in walks this guy, this little skinny guy, with this kind of, did you have a high top fade?
Yeah, I had a high top fade.
And he didn't know I was there, because when I first got to the house, he wasn't there. Him and his sister weren't there. So he comes walking through the living room, and he jumps kind of like, because he's surprised to see me sitting there, because he didn't know.
I just came from playing basketball.
Yes, you did.
And I was sweating and stuff, and he was like, woo.
No, I wasn't. So he walks through and kind of does a double take, like, whoa, who is that? And he kind of keeps walking and goes downstairs. Then he comes back through grinning really hard. Flirting.
Like my grandmother say, like a Chester cat.
Yeah.
Grinning like a Chester cat.
I didn't know Chester cats grin.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
that's an old school saying.
That's old school. I like it.
Grandma Bree.
Yeah, I miss Grandma Bree.
Me too.
So he comes through grinning like a Chester cat. And I knew he was flirting with me. So I grinned back. And he comes back through again, grinning all hard and stuff. Did you think that was cute?
Of course.
Shoot. Okay, so then I think he invited me to come outside because him and his sister and his best friend Goldie, they were all outside. But they had a dog. I think it must have been a Dominique.
Dominique, yeah, chow.
But he was big, and I didn't, I was kind of scared of dogs. But they reassured me that Dominique was a nice dog, and Dominique wouldn't, attack me or anything. So I went outside and kind of sat outside with them. And so a little later, we all go to dinner. Do you remember where we went?
I think we went to, did we go to Shoney's or something? Or
yes.
Shoney's?
You, me, your mom, your dad, Kelly, Brother Robert, and your grandma, I guess.
Yeah.
The seven people.
Mm-hmm.
So we go to sit down, and everybody gets a seat but me and Maurice. I don't know how that happened. So me and Maurice had to sit at a table by ourselves, just me and him, across from everybody else. I don't know why, how that happened, but that's how it happened. And his dad looks over at us and say, "Oh, look at them over there. Wouldn't it be something if they got married one day?" What the heck? So, that's how we met.
That's how we met.
So,
I didn't have a whole lot to interject.
But this is where you can interject. So, fill them in on how our parents know each other.
Okay, very, very interesting. Oh, this is interesting. Okay, so I'm gonna skip a generation, and I'm gonna go to our grandparents.
Yes.
It goes back, I think, into the 50s, mid 50s, maybe mid 50s, somewhere up in there. I'm not sure, but your grandfather, Phil Joplin, and my grandfather, Hank Mobley, were friends.
Yes.
Were buddies, like hanging buddies, drinking buddies. I believe they had a place together. They roomed or something together, something like that. Something like that. But I talked to Granddaddy, and he said that he met your grandfather at a men's club. So I'm sure all he did was drink at this men's club. But they ended up being good friends. So after that, you have our parents, where your mom and my mom went to school together.
From elementary school.
All the way up to high school, to graduation. They graduated together. Matter of fact, your mom, did she make it to my mom's graduation party?
Yes, she did, on mechanic.
On mechanic. So
my mom said that was the best house party she had ever been
really?
to.
Wow. They was good at throwing house parties, yeah. I guess that's where me and Kelly got that from. Huh?
Must be.
So, and then my dad and your aunt were friends growing up from grade school.
They graduated
together too. So our families is already kind of intertwined with each other. And then coming from Jackson, with it being small like it was, our family knew each other. My aunts, my Aunt Brenda knew your uncle Boney and Stanley and all of them. So it was real. I guess that was a good thing, though. It didn't take, because a lot of times the in-laws have to kind of mix and mesh.
Right, have to get to know
each other, and with that, kind of gave us a little jump start on that.
Yeah, so basically, it's our parents' fault that we met.
Right. Just taking Carl to the same babysitter you was at.
Oh, that's another connection.
So you and Carl was at the babysitter together.
Maurice's oldest brother, Carl. His babysitter was my Aunt Carrie. And when my Aunt Carrie, now Carl is 3 years older than me. So Aunt Carrie was already watching Carl. And then I come along, I'm born. Well, my Aunt Carrie watched me too. Right. So me and his brother were at the same babysitter. Now this is before, we have to tell this backstory too. Maurice's mother and father moved to Atlanta in 1975, which was the year I was born. Maurice was born and raised here in Atlanta. So we were like, we've just been intertwined and connected basically almost our whole lives. Yes. Yes, so that's how we met. That's why we met, because my mom and me came down here and she wanted to go see her friends, Maurice and Tara. That's how me and Maurice met. Now, did our love story start there though when we were 13 back in 1988?
I mean, it planted a seed because we started right. We wrote each other for a little while.
We didn't write each other then.
Initially, we didn't.
No, because the next time we met was in New York.
Okay, well.